up with all these ideas, and you're like, can we pull it off in a few days? And you end up, sometimes biting off more than you can chew. Sometimes you're in for a long week.
Yeah, and I was going to mention to you. This is a question I really wanted to ask you too. Is if Dancing with the Stars went up to you and said, "Would you want to be on the show?" Would you do it?
In a heartbeat. Yes. I love that show. Yeah, I would do that.
I mean,
I don't know how good I would be, but I would do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it almost looks like a perfect fit on there, and you're part of the ABC family, so.
I know. So maybe, it might be a complete tragedy, but I'd be willing to give it a try.
Yeah. How far forward are you doing a lot of these shows? Are you doing, maybe filming one in 2 weeks and then, maybe a month later, that's when it airs? Is that kind of the way it's flowing?
Yeah, it's about 6 weeks, our lead time from when we're done. And we film for about 10 months out of the year to make sure that we get our season done.
Yeah, and what do you do in your downtime? I mean, you're doing a lot of these projects and all that as well. I mean, is there any certain things you like to do in your downtime? For the last couple of years, haven't had much downtime. I've been working. I work very closely with Habitat for Humanity, and so in between my time off, I make sure that I'm raising awareness for them and actually going to build and helping out. And years ago, before I was even on the show, that's how I learned a lot of the things that helped me remodel houses. I remember years ago I went to a Habitat build and they put me up on the roof and they're like, yeah, today you're going to be doing roofing. You're going to be doing asphalt shingles. I'm like, here's a news flash. I've never done roofing. I've never done asphalt shingles. They're like, it's easy. Here, we'll show you how to do it. And, you learn so many great skills. So I make sure that especially with young women, I try to get them out, helping out on builds. If it's not ours, then doing Habitat builds. And then, I don't know what's on the agenda next. I'm excited that and I feel blessed that I am working, especially with the economy the way it is now. And it's so nice that we still have vendors that are willing to donate stuff that we can still do the show. We were a little worried that, because everything on the show is donated, we were a little worried that, I wonder how this economy is going to affect our show. But people have just been so wonderful and have been keeping us afloat. So that's good. So anything I can do to help give back, I'm going to. What do you think is the most beneficial part of you working on Extreme Makeover?
I think it's just the amazing people that we meet. It's the families that we meet that we're able to help. And, typically these families have been through so much and have been through such hard times, yet they have this wonderful attitude about life. And, they're not complaining. They're turning their situation around. And it's really uplifting to be able to see that. I think we all get caught up in our daily lives and complain about the little things, and then you see this family who's been through so much and they're not complaining about anything. It kind of puts everything into perspective. And then also the volunteers that we meet are pretty amazing. They have some really cool stories of why they're there or how far they've traveled to be able to help. And that's really the treat that we get in our job.
Yeah, I think so, and you do all of you do such a beneficial job, and I think everybody enjoys watching, people give back to these people that are in a bad situation that really could use a new house, and I think that's what kept the show going for so many years, and it's going to do that for so many years to come. So it's really great to see that you're giving back. You have a big heart.
Well, I hope so. We keep our fingers crossed that we keep going for many years just so that we can help more families.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody just enjoys watching it, and that's what the benefit of watching the show is. And, it makes you feel good inside even after you're done watching it, and that's the feeling a lot of people need to have right now. So it's really great to be able to see that as well. Obviously PaigeHemmis.com. You guys can check that out. That's where you can get her book there. You can get the tool accessories there as well, and then hopefully we'll get that tool line going for you, Paige. Like I said, we just cannot wait to see this show, especially the one that you're doing in Tennessee. Now that we know there's a costume thing going on too.
So, well, thank you so much.
Bonnie, welcome to the show. I really was looking around the internet. I found your biography, and I was just overwhelmed, so I had to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for taking some time. You're a very busy woman.
Yes, almost too busy sometimes, but I'm one of those people that likes to stay busy or I'm not satisfied.
Well, it's really great to have you on the show. And, I wanted to talk a little bit about, first of all, talk a little bit about your background. Can you tell us a little bit about how you were in high school? Were you like an active cheerleader back in high school?
Yeah, I was definitely split down the middle. I was a tomboy, so I played softball and ran track, and then I was a cheerleader as well. So I've always been that kind of person where I've done, the girl side and the boy side. So I guess I get that from my mom and dad. So my dad wanted me the tomboy, and my mom wanted me in the pageants and the cheerleading and dance. So I kind of 50-50.
Where did you go to college?
University of Texas. I'm a Longhorn.
You're a Longhorn.
Yeah.
Longhorn.
Yes, and I got my degree in broadcast journalism.
Well, that's absolutely great. And you were a Hooters girl at one point, right?
Yes, I was. After I was a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys, I was also a Hooters girl, and I actually can't knock it because they actually really helped me to do some more things in my career and got me my reoccurring role on Baywatch. So it was actually a good thing that I worked there, slinging wings.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention that you were named one of the, I think, a runner-up in one of the best, one of the hottest Hooters girls of the top 25 years. So
yeah,
that's definitely an acclaim that you could look forward to. And
you've done your research. I noticed you've done your research. You know a lot about me.
Yeah, that's impressive. There's been some impressed people that have been Hooters girls that have gone on to do so much more, and I think that's really great, especially yourself. I mean, you've done so much. You're a Dallas Cowboys cheerleading as well, and the reality series, I think, is really, really cool on TMT whenever they do the reality series of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And that is tough work, isn't it, to try to make that team?
Oh, yeah, definitely. When I tried out, there was about 5,000 girls that were trying to get a job, and there was about 11 to 13 spots available because the veterans that were returning. So, yeah, it was a tough process, about 2 weeks long, and it's a pretty big deal to be America's Sweetheart, Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, so I was honored to be part of that team and was on the cover of the calendar that year and on their show group and did a lot with them, so it was a great stepping stone as well.
Yeah, I think so. It's just impressive to be able to say that you're both, were both a Hooters girl and a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. It's, not to mention that you had a center in Maxim as well. And you're considered one of the hottest girls in Maxim, the top 100, I think, last year, but
so that's also been kind of it's always kind of fun to be named to those lists.
It is. It's really absolutely great to be able to see such a beautiful woman like yourself do that. But not to mention they have a very good head on your shoulders as well. You're right now you're in the position of you're the assistant manager of the LA Lakers, the LA Breakers, right?
Yeah, it's called the Los Angeles D-Fenders. It's our D-League team. It's basically our minor league team, and I'm a scout for the Lakers, first and only female scout. So I like to, be able to show girls it's not just about having, a pretty face. It's about using your brains and being credible, and that's what I've done is, think that it's more important to use your brain and, do that side of it than just always just doing the modeling and the other stuff I've done in the past. So I'm really happy where I'm at right now.
How did you get the job as a scout? Were you always a basketball fan?
Yeah, I've been a sports person all my life, and I was covering the team, the Los Angeles Lakers, for KCAL, KCBS, and ESPN for about 5 years, so they knew that I knew the triangle offense, that I was really comfortable in the organization, and knew what Phil Jackson wanted when it came to players, and so they tried me out for a year, and then after that, the rest is kind of history. I've been there for 5 years now. It's great to be able to see that kind of barrier broken, that you were able to go out there and scout a lot of these college players. Obviously, you've been watching the March Madness. And first of all, can you tell us your overall thoughts about what's been going on with the March Madness? Oh, I love it. I think it's the best tournament I've ever seen. Literally, when you've got these underdogs and these number one seeds getting knocked out of the tournament, I love it. It's great for college basketball, and it's just great to see the Cinderella teams go to the Final Four. And I've been pulling for all the underdog teams, even though in the beginning my bracket was all the number one seeds. After you got to see what was going on, it was pretty neat to watch these games because even though people thought the matchups weren't going to be that great, they have been. Every game has been phenomenal. So it's been great to see that. I was actually in Salt Lake City
scouting, and now I get to enjoy the rest of it, just watching on TV. But it's been really great watching these teams succeed as far as, you would think, considering that some are just these low seeds, underdogs.
Was probably what do you think, in your opinion, was the surprise of the tournament?
I think the biggest was, right away, Kansas getting knocked out. That was probably the biggest. Kansas, and then Kentucky losing this past weekend. It's just been a lot of teams that you never thought would have been knocked out. I had, Kentucky winning it all. I mean, now you still got the number 1 seed Duke in there, and they probably, have a very good chance of winning it all. But I really like these other teams being in there, especially like Butler.
Yeah, I mean, well, let me ask you the question then. Everybody's wanting to know. Who do you think is going to win out of the Final Four? Who do you think is going to be the champion here?
I say probably Duke. They've got a solid team, and they got Coach K running those guys, and so, overall, I think it's probably going to be Duke. Do I want it to be Duke? No. I like Coach K a lot. I kind of want to see another team win it, but I think that Duke's probably going to win it all.
It would be nice to see Butler or Michigan State win. I think I'm for Butler because we haven't seen too much of Butler. So.
Yeah, and I was really rooting for the Baylor Bears to knock off Duke, and they came close, so they gave them a fight.
Are you surprised at some of the competition this year? I mean, a lot of these smaller teams, the ones that from smaller colleges, actually do have very talented players that maybe, everybody else like yourself are looking at.
No, I mean, there's always that chance. People always want to think of the top schools, the number 1 seeds, the ones you hear about every year, but it's always, people don't realize that these other teams, they're just as hungry. Northern, Iowa and St. Mary's, they've got great basketball programs, and, it's great to finally see them get some kind of spotlight on them, especially like Cornell, like Butler, the average GPA is like 3.8, so it's pretty neat to see these guys who are going to class and studying and actually, playing basketball at the same time. It's pretty amazing, especially these really smart schools.
Yeah, and there's been kind of rumors that they're going to expand the tournament to 96 teams next year.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. It kind of dilutes the tournament. I kind of like how it is now, that they're fighting to try to expand it.
Yeah, well, and it's wreaked havoc on everybody's brackets because it's almost impossible to get a perfect bracket now.
Oh, yeah.
Just think about it when it's 96 teams. Wow. It's like, it's just crazy. But I think overall, I think you're right. It's been a crazy tournament. I mean, I was really rooting for, like, St. Mary's to make it to the Final Four and a lot of these other teams that are lower ranked because I was just like, I really wanted to see a lower ranked team and to prove that there are other teams. I'm a Montana State University graduate, so they'll make like the first round. Sometimes they'll make it like a little upset in the first round and make it to the second round, but they won't get past the second round. So it must be even more exciting for some of those other teams like St. Mary's to like, wow, we made it to the final 16, the Sweet 16 and all that.
Yeah, that's the most important is to make it to the Sweet 16, and so that's why it's been so great to see this tournament because no one, had those teams going all the way, So, like I said, everyone's brackets were messed up after the first day.
Well, let's turn to the playoffs with the Lakers. How do you think the Lakers are faring this year? And, obviously the playoffs are coming up. So what's kind of your overall assumption about how the Lakers are doing?
Well, as long as we stay healthy, there's no reason why we shouldn't make it to the finals and win it all again. We just have to keep it going. And obviously we've had some injuries here and there, but we just need to keep everyone healthy and keep Kobe healthy, obviously, and Powell and Andrew Bynum, everyone, and I think we're going to be good. We're getting into gear now. That's what the Lakers do. Sometimes we coast through a couple games here and there, but now that we're heading toward the playoffs is when we really, hit in high gear, and I'm not worried about it. I think we're really going to do well, and like I said, I think we should win it all again.
How great is it to work with Phil Jackson over there at the Lakers?
Oh, the whole organization is great. There's no one that I can point out that isn't just wonderful and has really taken me under their wing and helped me along, and I've been really fortunate to have such great people to work with, and like I said, it's been you can't work for anyone better than, the Buss family and the Lake organization.
Tell us a little bit about the Defenders. How are they doing? Do they do like a short season during the summer, or how does that work?
Well, the Defenders, we actually didn't do as well as we hoped this season. We actually are out of the playoffs, and that kind of has to do with the fact that we only keep 10-man roster, and we've got so many guys that end up going overseas or end up getting hurt, and we never have the consistency of the same team of 10 guys throughout the whole year, so it's really hard, especially running the